Hi, in today's video, I'm going to discuss about how to create data pipelines and all, especially using an application, one of the tool called Compass. Because whenever we are working on the Compass, which is part of Atlassian products, it's always important for us to create multiple components according to the requirements what we have. So creating components for any application development is one of the important element which we have to be known with. Now, either in kind of services, when we are talking about, either the services can be a software unit, or else if you want to create any kind of libraries or any applications, or if you are going to create any kind of cloud sources, or if you are going to create any kind of pipelines, or else if we wants to create any kind of machine learning models and all everything. So the creation of components in context to the Compass is something essentially required. In this regard, today I'm going to show you how generally this pipeline sequential processes and all everything can be created as a component, especially using an application called Compass and Atlassian. Now here you can see an context part of services here. In this services, we need to select data pipeline. So wherein we have to create a data pipeline, name has to be created, name has to be mentioned. So that here I'm giving a name called inventory, because whenever you want to manage inventory for any of the products, especially in the retail stores, etc., how the data has to be maintained and how the data pipeline to be created is something essentially required. In this regard, I'm just creating a name called inventory so that data pipeline can be created for inventory system, etc. Next, here we need to create. So we need to create a team here and here. So inventory team, this is what something which I'm just creating, right? So inventory team is what something which I'm creating here. You can see here view team is there, right? So we can view the team, and whoever the members do we have and all everything, we can create them. That is something which can be done. So team members can be added so that whatever the data pipeline components are we going to create will be shown seen by them effective accordingly. Now, if there is any kind of repository which wherein we need to connect with, we need to paste the link of the repository. Followed by this, we need to create. So this is how one of the component for any of the data pipeline, what is that we are going to create over here. So that you can see, this is where a component called data pipeline, which was created here for an application or for a line of name called inventory here. Now, whenever we have created inventory, here we have seen where are different life cycle stages has to be mentioned. Now there is a life cycle stage which we are selecting called pre-release. Pre-release is a stage I am taking. This is of tier 1. I am selecting here. Now we need to write down the description for this, right? So description of it. To manage the inventory of the products which are available on storefronts. Okay, I'm just selecting, I'm writing down the description over here. Right, so here we need to create the labels. For example, I'm creating a label called product. I'm creating a label called inventory. Uh, I'm creating a label called grading. Okay, right. So these are the three different labels I'm creating. Now, whatever the activities do we require to perform, and if you want to perform any kind of deployments and all everything, right? So if you want to create any kind of add deployments, here you can see an action called add deployments. If you want to create any kind of deployments and all everything, here we need to select the method, right? So where are we going to deploy it? For example, Bitbucket is a method we are going to create, or if you want to deploy this using and accessing the code, because if you want to access the code, either the code repository is called Bitbucket or GitHub or GitLab, right? So from there, generally this accessing is what something which we need to create with. This is where generally Bitbucket deployments can be used. Now, when it comes to the method and all, even connectivity can be done using APIs. Either it can be RESTful API or it's a Street API, or else it can be a SOAP API. So different APIs can be created even equally here. This is where generally add deployments and all everything is what something which we can be created when we are working on the data pipelines, especially whenever we are working on the tool called Compass. At the same time, here we need to create the activities, means whatever the activities we need to create, means if you want to create any kind of add instance, means if you want to add any kind of incidents for the existing application, right? For example, Opsgenie is a instant management tool because Opsgenie we use majorly for instant management. Whatever the list of incidents we are working on the application, and if you want to manage any kind of instance to be managed with, so this add instance of option is what something which we have to use. So this is depends on organization to organization, whatever the instance you are going to create and whatever the instance you are going to manage, everything can be included in this regard. So at the same time, if you want to add deployments here, because sometime back I told you deployment, adding the deployments using whatever the kind of repository tools are we going to have and all everything can also be done. But make sure when we are creating an app activity and all, we need to see which environment is it. Is it a staging environment we are working on? Is it in the production environment? As of now, whenever we start the project, we need to create staging part. Staging environment is what something we are creating when we are working on the activity part. And there are some listing things which wherein we have to mention the timelines, because we have to mention the timelines over here, whatever the required timelines and whatever the dependencies do we have, right? So if there are any kind of dependencies to be added to this is where generally here we need to map the dependencies based on the software infrastructure what we are having. So here for that even we need to create one more component, even not only for data pipelines. Even if you want to create any kind of software architecture, we have to create that equal. So this is how generally this inventory, this is where generally this data pipelines and all everything can be created under the components using Compass tool, which is majorly used for the people who are working on the DevOps environment, wherein they want to integrate with the different tools like GitHub, GitLab, right? So all these things, especially in this regard. This is all about this video. If you have any questions, if you have any queries, please reach out to the contact details, which will be posted in below to this video. Thank you.